we're talking about the analytics. We're going to move on with that. Again, I shared last time we're not going to go through one conversation from the other. We're going to choose the one that seems meaningful for our purposes. Okay, so I don't quite remember last time where we stopped, but anyway, we're going to start with 323.
Okay.
So this one actually talk about the music. So good topic after morning music time,
yeah.
Right? So, and from there we're going to move on. So there's a one that missing is 222. That is maybe the one before that as well. So things were historical with historical figure, historical setting. Unless you have a lot of information on that, it's really hard to appreciate what it really means. Okay, so also the meaning, the essence of behind it is not that we don't know. Okay, so most time discuss, but this one is begin to talk about music. That is 323, conversation 23 from the third session. Okay, so third section rather. So 子语鲁大师曰：曰乐其可知也，是作息汝也，从之存汝也，教汝也，依汝也，以成。So do you guys have your notebook? You want to take some notes?
Yeah, I'm going to be using my my app today since I don't have my notebook with me.
Okay, you can.
Do you want me to read the version?
Yes.
Okay. So I hope this is the right one because there's some typos in this version I have, and it's showing that
it's all about music, basically.
Yeah, this one does talk about music.
Okay, that's it.
The master, instructing the grand music master of Lu, said, "How to play music may be known. At the commencement of the piece, all the parts should sound together. As it proceeds, they should be in harmony while severally distinct and flowing without break, and thus on to the conclusion."
So, can you believe that in conference teaching there is a different fields or different territories is teaching? Okay, is including poems, classic poems, including how to the propriety or honor system that involved with different arenas of upper social life, you can call it, whether in the court or in ceremonial occasions, especially in certain cases we discuss about worship, okay, or doing sacrifices, okay. So now again, as I shared with you, there will be music for those occasions, whether in a ceremony or in sacrificial, their music go with it, right? So, and there lies another territory Confucius is very good at teaching, is that he teaches how to appreciate it, actually how to play those musics. Can you believe that? So, in this occasion, as I shared, he was one time he was the primer of the Lu kingdom where he was brought up. So as a primer, he was involved in different ceremonies, actually set up these ceremonies. So we also know when he was young, he go to different nations, different the center, the capital, the empires, to learn those things. So there's a tradition along these lines, so, and in this occasion he discussed basically how to play music. Almost like a conductor organize a band, so orchestra to play music. So he tell them how to play a piece in a fluid and harmonized and beautiful way. Okay, so I don't know English very well. You guys forgive me. You understand what I'm trying to say, am I right? So he's saying that 乐其可知也. By the way, he talked about 鲁大师乐. 鲁大师乐, 大师 in those days means official, literally a head orchestra. or something like that, if you can think about it, so. And, then Yue Qi said, hey, to play orchestra or play, this whole process should easily be known, should easily to be detected. So when it started, it will be, Shiruya, like many winds come together, so making sense here? So like blowing, those days you have a string instrument. You have then what is called blowing like a trumpet, like what is called?
Woodwind?
Yeah, flute, right? So things, different instruments. So different instruments, they have different tempos, different carry different volume sounds. Making sense here? So he said basically there's a way to do those things. Now he was talking about, in the beginning you want to be open up with a great majesty, saying like depicting a word, just word active, word agitated, opening things. And he said, saying quiet down a little bit, so, and, anyway, so he's talking about the different ways, harmonize things, different tempo things, different levels of things, like the music we're talking about, have different compositions going on, and how to sum it up. So, now, in music history, I think this is also was a discovery, the person called Baha, the father of modern classics music. And this is my point. He actually discovered this kind of things as well. Interesting, they have the similar detection of how music in the orchestra should be played. So, now, why I mention this is because this morning we listen some classic music, we recognize those similar things. Also recognize this is a man, Confucius, a man of many talents, so he was able to use all those talents condensed or bordered along a culture beauty. He knows what it means to organize and lead and manage a nation. So all this are national affairs, okay? So that means they're national affairs. Reason is that in those days, they don't do entertainment. Music's not for entertainment. Music literally is a part of the ceremonial process, into the process like how you dress, okay? So to express a culture, all those things. And with me, music always congregating or ceremony, okay, for a special occasion. So with music, they're going to proceed, people are going to sit down, to stand up, sometimes even dancing, right? So, that's my point, there's a whole way of doing things together. So, now, right now, my lost contest is that because everybody just sit down, hear music. That's not the Asian way music with order. The Asian way, they can't really use a microphone. So what do? They organize a whole group of people who cannot really hear things very well. Am I right? In a sense, my point. So they use music to express others' language, how they step, how they rise up, how they walk, what they. And this is my point. Everything is conducted by musical language. If you understand that, you will understand, for example, when they go into war, they don't shout, let's do it. They will beat you see the movie sometimes, beat the drums or beat the thing. So they blow a horn, that's when to charge or when to retreat, So imagine, therefore you can't, clarion call, for example, when Paul used in the Bible said, who will charge until you see a clarion call? If the clarion call is not clear, the battle will be lost, right? Because nobody ready to, they're going to disarray. So those are then this is our ceremony in a sense, right? In the ancient time, that's literally the order of the day. So if you just someone blew the trumpet wrong, blew the wrong sound, the whole army going to hear a different order at the lost battle. If they can't hear, they can't do the beating, and right? They can't do a raid, they will lose the battle. Just cause damage to them. So they trained, those culture trained everybody when they congregated together or in great numbers to hear the sound of the instrument or the music. Making sense to you? So, yeah. And they was rehearsed it again and again in order to do it right, especially for serious occasions. So, now give a better context for these things. Okay, so, are you guys tired? And slept good? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, okay. There's a things on my table you can use. Yeah. So 24, I'm going to continue. Okay, so 一分人请见，曰：君子之具，是也，惟吾未尝不得见也。从者见之出，曰：二三子何患于上乎？天下之无道也久矣。天将以夫子为I think it's 木铎 the word. Okay. Let's see what's going on.
This is 24.
24, yeah.
Okay. The border warden at Yi requested to be introduced to the master, saying, when men of superior virtue have come to this, I have never been denied the privilege of seeing them. The followers of the sage introduced him, and when he came out from the interview, he said, my friends, why are you distressed by your master's loss of office? The kingdom has long been without the principles of truth and right. Heaven is going to use your master as a bell with its wooden tongue.
Is that amazing? That's exactly what it is. So here's an outsider, a stranger to this company. And evidently, Yi is a particular time I can't identify. Actually, it's a nation or the kingdom next to Lu. So this is actually along the journey when he was dismissed. He resigned actually from the primer of being Lu's kingdom, and tried to go to the next adjacent kingdom, which is Wei, trying to find some, employment in the court, evidently. And they were worried about whether he is able to. Interesting, those days his disciples follow him wherever he go. They will give up everything and follow him. So it's like a Jesus situation, So, and they were following him to resign from their nation to follow him to another nation to see if he can be employed by that kingdom to fulfill his vision where the kingdom should be wrong. That's what the conversation is about. And while they were waiting in the border, waiting to be admitted to the next kingdom, which go through customs, so. And the head office of that border said, all of the officials or noblemen come through here are going to have to seek, are going to have being interviewed, meeting each other, which is a tradition those days. And says my point, so evidently he's a very wise man. And he went to see the Lao Tzu Confucians. They talk evidently a little bit, they come out. Nobody knows what they really being talked about. The deed recorded here is a comment of this official at the border. Said, hey, basically everybody distressed because he lost primership, he lost the heading off from their home nation, says my point, homeland, because we're not a kingdom, they don't know what the future holds for them. They don't even know whether he's going to have a job there, not employed in the court, used by the king, basically. and they were worried about it, so. And evidently this official heard the stories, the contest of meeting to their kingdom. And so he tried to comfort them and said, hey, why you guys worry about what you lost? As if you lost things. He said, the whole kingdom, they're different kingdom, but there's under one kingdom. Okay? So, you understand that, man? It's like a 12 tribe under one kingdom, Israel, that kind of thing. So, it said it has without righteous rule for a long time. And, but God or heaven going to use, your teacher as a wake-up call for that, basically. Like a rally call, Exactly, so we're talking about the moods. That means you have this, big bell, am I right? So a bell, basically. And you use a rod, I mean wood, to bound and to say, here, pay attention to this, like, in the biblical, what they call trumpet call, so pay attention. Well, usually the bound on that is get every attention basically when the king gave a decree. Okay, so to announce the decree, you bound and everybody got attention. Here's the king's order, king's decree. So here, the gentleman was using this occasion to tell God is without any decree, without any good order for a long time. Now, your teacher is like that trumpet call, that I don't know how to translate. What do you translate there? That instrument?
Said the last sentence is, heaven is going to use your master as a bell with its wooden tongue.
Yes, exactly. So you understand my point now. So
it reminds me of, I think in the Chinese culture they often use a gong.
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
In the courtroom or in the throne room.
Yeah.
Like when the king, I don't know much at all, but when the king approaches or is about to speak something, they go.
Oh yeah,
like fills the whole room with almost wave like.
I'm gonna send you some gong playing. Yeah. Somebody doing that is amazing instrument. Yeah, so. Profound voice, that thing can give you some amazing sound. Yeah. Anyway, making sense to you, am I right? Yeah. Making sense to you. So, you had to understand those cultures. We don't have modern convenience or inventions, am I right? So we had to think differently with imagine certain things, So music is different than today's music, So. The composition, the purpose, the arrangement, so making sense here? So, yeah. Now again, so this here is all about music. Yet it was in the context, very different than modern day for entertainment, am I right? So let's say 25, talk about music again. So, 子谓少，尽美仪，尽善也。为吾既美仪，未尽善也. Let's hear your translation. You can finish your note.
No, it's good. This is 25. The master said of the Shao that it was perfectly beautiful and also perfectly good. He said of the Wu that it was perfectly beautiful but not perfectly good.
Anyway, so now let's give some content to this. Zhou is court music to celebrate a certain occasion. It was composed by Sun, which is an Asian king, from Asian kingdom. So a long time ago. So they passed on here. And they were performing it. Wu is another kingdom, but that's almost 3 dynasties later. I'm talking about 1,000 years later, maybe. Sorry. At least 1,000 years later. So more modern to Confucius time. We have a long history of China, unfortunately. So the music was, the main thing was celebrating the victory of a king to conquer all, to take over another kingdom, basically. So establish kingdom. So they have different themes, different times. So every performance, in a sense, Confucius is maybe the first time ever heard it. Okay, so I don't know exactly what the occasion is. So then you have two performance here. Now you have to understand, only the court musician will be allowed to perform those music. Let me hear it. You understand? Not just everybody can pick up instrument to do it, right? They have to have the different instrument come together. They have the proper occasion. The performer has to be ordained, by the court. Am I right? Making sense here? So anyway, in this occasion, that's history, background. You see my point, So Confucius commenting on two kind of music. This is very important, worth to think about it. He commented, he said, the first music, the first performance was called the show, this piece called the show. It's really excellent, it's beautiful, so most beautiful, and it's perfect. Use the word perfect, And the second, he said, it's very beautiful and majestic, but it's not that perfect. His comment here is not merely about music itself. Actually, when they're doing those music, by the way, I'm going to give introduction to, they're not just doing music. Normally the music actually is for performance, for dancing. Now those dancing not like a modern day dancing, just full of, they were nation dancing. They're using warriors, using this is my point. It was not just maybe girls, doing dancing. They may be using all kinds of people, So maybe women, maybe soldiers, maybe people different. Even the official, they will do dance, do ceremony dancing. So everybody actually know how to dance, So it's a ceremonial thing. So now when they do that, not like a civilized tribe, doing those dancing around the fire. So we're ceremonies, we're all organized the dancing. So when they dance, they doing this kind of occasion, like we're formal occasions on the national scene, and they do this. And they have a rehearsal, am I right? So he was involved in the rehearsal, I believe. And they say, he had a comment, he basically saying, well, there's one kind of music from a show, is perfect. Why is it perfect? It's more than because music is good, but the way they organize the whole thing, the theme of it is good. And that's my point. Music have a theme, has a purpose, for a certain occasion was composed. So for Sun, which is a king that actually he was we're a good king, So he was a peaceful king, he's a very capable king. I might share some story with you later on. This king actually come from we're not troubled. For example, his father didn't want him, his stepmother tried to kill him, they was just very humble background, so but he was a right man, he was honor his father, honor his mothers, never did any bad things against them. And then he was tried to become a tribal leader, eventually become heir to the throne for the whole kingdom. So those days they don't pass on to their own sons, he was chosen as a nobleman, basically, as the right heir, right leader for the next generation, which he became to be. So then he passed on to another guy, so he's in the middle. So his kingdom has been the ideal role in China. When we talk about the good king, righteous king, we talk about the king is one of the bad examples. You see my point, So when he did his music and passed on, the theme of it, evidently were good. It was not ceremony merely about conquering victory. But the next piece was more about conquering victory. When you win a battle, you establish a kingdom, you want to celebrate that, right? So to commemorate those things. So conference comment on it, that all the music are all good, were good performance, good music. But that first one is perfect, is ideal. The second one, it's missing something, so evidently he doesn't represent a good culture. Am I right? So making sense to you? Not for a good occasion. So let's see 326. This is very interesting. 子曰：居上不宽，位礼不敬，邻上不哀，吾何以观之？ Let's hear your translation. Elijah, do you have any comments on so far? No. Anything? Okay. Go ahead.
The master said, high station filled without indulgent generosity, ceremonies performed without reverence, mourning conducted without sorrow. Wherewith should I contemplate such ways?
So we know in the former discussions, we were talking about how Confucians exercise, teach us all the exercise, discernment. And he usually have a certain method how to say it. And it sounds crazy in modern society. But you look at the Bible, tell you the whole Proverbs tongue of being prudent, how you gain prudence, right? How you have wisdom, how you not, Paul said, how you not walk in compulsion, right? So rather walk with good companions, how to discern, to have better fellowship and friendship in life. Psalms 1 give actually a very good description, said do not. Can you read it for us? Psalms 1 actually. Psalm 1 in the first portion. Elijah, where's your Bible?
It's over there.
Okay.
You want me to read from the first verse?
Exactly.
Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked.
So he walked, right? He does not walk. Okay, so go ahead.
Or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers.
You can stop there. So what is the three verbs there? Repeat them.
The verb themselves is to step, or to stand, or to sit.
The first does not walk, right? The second does not stand. The third does not sit. The first words. But he delight in something. Therefore, he going to change his companionship, change where he associates with. Am I right? And that's my point. He's not going to say that this is a place where I don't want to be, but I want to be somewhere else. So he delight in God, in the law of the Lord. On his law, he meditates day and night. That's what he does. He studied the law of the Lord. And the law of the Lord can be studied scriptural as intellectual understanding, or you can study it as a cultural construct. Amen. Hallelujah. Even today we have a constitution. The lawyers of a small mind or certain professions, the lawyers, they will never care about how this nation was constructed. They will study the Constitution, only back up their interest of certain freedoms, certain rights. Am I right? So they will not, as a Supreme Court judge, try to say, okay, in this body of law that actually spring out from a constitution, Amen. As much as it's strict, detailed, but the Constitution govern them all. Now how this works, and the Moses tell you what to do in this affair, in that affair, in this territory, that affair. Well, the Constitution have a picture, what kind of king, what kind of a nation, what kind of people you want us to be. From that vantage point, I approach every territory of the law. I can even judge whether Congress passed the right law or not, right? So, making sense to you? Or I can judge whether the executive branch, whether they are abiding the Constitution or not, so the violation of the Constitution. That's happened in American history, so no strange phenomenon to us. But look at that, in this man, he said, I'm not going to waste my time to associate with this kind of thing. Bad experiences, basically. And he said, I want to concentrate on learning the right way, which exactly what Confucius is about, actually, to learn the right way. Now, our songs give you moral teaching. I hope I don't change you as if I'm teaching a moral code. Okay, so try to impart here a will for life. You have to have your heart set on something. Eventually, you delight in something. What delights you? What requires you, in a sense? You have time, you have interest, wherever you have, especially young people have different energies. But what do you concentrate on? So, how you spend your mind? What excites you? So, are the balance your heart from the street, am I? So, there's something has to be, what is abandoning your heart means, what is filling your heart, your mind? What do you want in life? So, and third line, the process, also this book talking about, if you don't, like a tree deeply rooted in the right place, you will never bear much fruits. But a righteous man who knows how to plant root his life in the right place, he then will flourish accordingly. But I will concentrate on this talking about the don'ts. Do not walk in the counsel of the wicked. People said, I know that's wicked, but it doesn't matter, doesn't care about me, I'm not going to be part of it, and I just, don't take into it, that's all. But if you continue to see around people like this, and you as if it doesn't make a difference for you. Okay, as last time I shared with you, the first, your senses will become dull. The second, your standard will recede, right? You understand my point? One day this is offensive to you, or not agreeable to your heart, your mind. After 10 guys, after 10 occasions, this is normal day life. So, making sense to you? And so you will give in to that. So that's why we don't go to pubs, am I? Don't think it's just have a good time. Why? Because in pubs, normally the conversation is not that uplifting, right? So go to horse so save money to have something better things, So go to a reading club. I mean, not reading bad stuff, I'm talking reading good stuff, right? So why? Because you are facing different company, So the same time, the same money, you decide, So whether you want to improve yourself, refine yourself, or you just always have a good time, So with the wrong people. Don't walk with the people continue gambling, So, amen, hallelujah. Proverbs said, don't walk with thieves, So don't walk with people always talk foolishly. Why? Unless you can do something about it, So unless if you're a leader or someone, you can instruct them, or you're a teacher for them, you can escape that responsibility of that call. But if that is your everyday life, that's your companionship. You have a choice, and choose wisely. The second is that do not stand in the way of sinners. So basically the whole thing is, then seed in the seed, mockers. Interesting, okay? So the first in the council of wicked, that everybody chanted, and they said, hey, that's good, that's bad, and right? It does not have put into action yet. But the second one said, stand in the way of the sinners. You begin to walk in it. You not just hear it, agree with it. You walk it out. You're doing it with them. The third is a word bad. It says, seed in the seed mockers. Well, people don't sit down until they have authority, right? Or they feel comfortable with something. So this one, seed in the seed, is usually one actually is play a leading role or integral role in the place one, mockers. You mock is okay, I hear it, I don't want to be a quiet partner in it, or I'm doing it, I'm promulgating it. This one actually said, well, this is my life now. So I'm going to propagate it. I'm going to build influence based on it. Amen? Hallelujah. You can see certain people go through a process of being gangsters. In life, through occur on them, band companion drag them into, okay, that's quick money, that's easy, they all buddies and have a good time, so. The next thing, what they have you? They're going to get you involved all kinds of criminal acts. And you have to do it because companionship you kept, peer pressure or whatever, or maybe greed on your own part, so, and you will do it. Everyone's doing it. That's their everyday life. So you said there's, they can do it, why can't I? I just do it one time, get off the hook, So then next thing you know what? You begin to either enjoy benefit, you don't need to work hard for it, so, or maybe the gang has the rules, you can't really retreat from it. That's modern day society now. Meaning a young man caught in this. How many? Every school we have it. Every city have it. We just don't have it in our society, in our circles. We don't see how they moves, right? So, but I know a lot of young people do that, so, and the next thing, what have you? They're going to become a leader, so I can get out if I need it, the ambition for powerful position, for influence eventually will make you do it. Now, why I say that? Because in my own life, testimony-wise, I have a few occasions to be a gangster. I can't do anything. I don't fight, I don't shoot, but still have an ample opportunity to be introduced to things. Can you believe that? And I'm a quiet guy, I'm a guy no use for those people, so they're still going to recruit me. Because I'm smart, man. Can you believe that? So you're going to face those things. I want you to pray right now, so you like to pray for them.
Father, we love you. Lord, I pray that in life we would not fall into such temptations of man, Lord. Lord, when they do arise, Lord, that we would make the choice to just follow you, Lord, to do what is right in your eyes. Lord, that I pray that you would give us the insight and the understanding on to do that, Lord. Lord, that we would not waste our lives away, Lord, on just earthly things, Lord. That we would focus on doing your will and fulfilling your purpose. Lord, I pray that we would follow the path to you, Lord. Lord, that you would draw us closer to you. I pray this in your name.
So Confucius actually sometimes talking about the bad characters. This way he has a very strong opinion about it. So he basically seen a foolish man, maybe a foolish young man. Who knows? Normally he would talk on nobles, he don't society, he don't comment normally, just commoners, right? And there is somebody has some importance. But he said, 居上不宽 means when he is in a place of have authority, have a seeing things, he's very cruel. He's not compassionate. He's just we're ugly, you know. Dion says when people have some authority, have power, they can be very cruel, you know. So we're mean. So, and that's what it is: a mean ruler, a mean. In charge, when he's in charge, acting very mean, you know, so mean-hearted. The second, 威礼不敬 means when he is attending certain of should show respect, should show honor, that kind of occasions, he has no regard for it, you know, he has no regard for it. Like son of Noah, one son Ham, I think his name. Then 临上不爱 he has no remorse, he has no sorrow. He didn't show any empathy to those who go to a funeral, something bad happened in life, tragic happened in life. He has no respect, this man. I mean, you know, when you see a man acting like that, you say, do I need to go see more about that man? He's a bad apple, we say. Amen. Hallelujah. Anyway, so that's ended up today's lesson. You know, next time we're going to start section 4. Yeah. So let's give a little comment or summary on the thing we have learned a little bit. So we're going to have Noah do that. We know the lesson started with talking about on biggest scale, we're talking about how to learn, right? So what it means to be a good student of things, how to learn. The second, if you learn, there's a vision of learning, right? You don't learn. You have to have a vision in your heart set up. I've been talking. I want to hear the vision about that. The third, and the training is the teaching is not just for you to be just any other moral person. There are a good purpose for this, to make you a prince or train you like when going to have a responsible role to manage a relationship in a setting, in different settings, right? So how you do that. So, and character, stuff like that, you know. So anyway, so now back to you, to the review. Anything
Just review what we looked over today.
Yeah, no, all of them from beginning to, you can review today as well. Take free time.
Well, the theme I noticed running through each book is in the first one, the primary theme is actually the underlying theme for the entire collection of Analects, I think, which is the building of a culture. And so I think more precisely in the first book we see the building of character, particularly that of like a young prince or a student. And so it has mostly to do with the character of the individual, which is meant to build the culture. And then the second chapter I see the main theme is the maintenance almost of that culture.
It's actually talking about how to rule.
Yeah.
Literally talking how to rule.
Well, what I remember a lot from, the reason I say maintenance is because, not like keep it alive kind of thing, but to keep it, basically active within a people.
Sure.
And the reason I say that is because a lot of the teachings in the second book had to do with the honoring and respect of elders, teachers, and parents, which honor is, in a sense, the lifeblood of a culture. Yeah. And so, in the third book, which we just finished up today, I feel like since we had to move around on some stuff and not read some.
It was more about ceremonial occasions.
Yeah, exactly.
So official occasions.
So it almost seemed like like the culture was being identified in this third book. Like even taking today's few readings as an example, we saw a theme of music, which I think even just as one would study how one dresses, music equally provides a very insightful view into the lifestyle or culture of an individual or of a people. So I think that's one of the key points that the theme of music offers even today's teachings, is how it's representative of a culture. And so and today we see, first of all, that if I just look at my notes, we see Confucius himself as a man. He even in past teachings we see that he really appreciates the arts. So like he will talk about poetry, and he'll even, in a sense,
man have refined taste.
Yeah, and because he knows obviously that one of the ones I remember is that he was talking about how these poems, I think he was talking about the collection, the old ancient collection that the Chinese culture has. These poems are beautiful because of their purity, or something like that.
There's a compilation of them. 305 poems together in different ways. So good.
And so obviously you can see Confucius.
Hold on.